Good Sunday afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We have more severe weather today into the new work week across the United States. We'll get into those details, followed by a major heat wave that builds across the middle of the country during the middle to late portion of the month of June. How warm will temperatures get? And then the storm track shifting further to the north with much needed rainfall in parts of the upper Midwest and the Ohio Valley region. We'll get into those details later on in today's video. But first up, another significant day of severe weather is anticipated across the Tennessee Valley and the Deep South as we head into this afternoon and this evening. There's an enhanced risk in the orange that is a level 3 out of 5 on the scale here. This does cover parts of Kentucky, much of Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, northern parts there of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia as we head into this afternoon with a large marginal and slight risk in the dark green and yellow area surrounding that. We do have the threat for more significant hail, though, back especially into North Texas around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then across the Front Range here into southeastern Colorado and northeastern New Mexico and the western Oklahoma panhandle later on today. And the tornado threat is maximized here across the Tennessee and lower Ohio river valleys from portions of Ohio down through Kentucky, Tennessee, northern parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and northwest Georgia. Also another smaller area of tornado concerns across southeastern Colorado into northeastern New Mexico as we head through later on today. But looking more focused here on the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley, more organized storms will be pushing through the noon or through the 6 p.m. time frame. These storms will be packing a punch with damaging winds, large hail, and perhaps a few tornadoes. You see a couple discrete cells trying to develop ahead of the main line early on this evening. Those could be the ones to pose the risk for tornadoes as they move to the south and east. These will push across the western Carolinas, northern Georgia, so the Atlanta area, getting down through Birmingham, Tuscaloosa through the overnight hours. This is midnight here on your Monday morning, and that line of storms will be pushing farther into the southeastern regions as we head into your Monday morning time frame. But not before leaving some very heavy rainfall. This is your total rainfall accumulation from now all the way through Monday morning on June 12th. And you can see widespread heavy rains across the Ohio Valley. That is definitely much needed. Some of these areas into Ohio, southern Indiana, southern Illinois could be reaching in excess of 1 inch of rainfall. And then further south into Kentucky, Tennessee, and parts of the southeastern regions, parts of South Carolina, Georgia there, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi. A lot of these areas will be seeing at least a half an inch of rain, with some areas up to as much as around 2 inches worth of rain as well going through your Monday morning time frame. And then the severe weather on Monday shifts a little bit further down to the south. We have another slight risk here on Monday across portions of eastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, getting into southern Alabama and northwest Florida, as well as across north central Texas as we head into your Monday time frame. And looking at this here going into Monday as well, we do have a threat for a tornadoes mainly just across the southern plains here from the Texas Panhandle down into North Texas as we head into your Monday afternoon and evening. And you can see the evening time frame on Monday, that's when the storms will erupt, peak daytime heating, definitely seeing some supercell potential. Not everybody will see severe weather, but if you do get under one of these storms, they could produce some intense downburst winds over 60 miles per hour, some large hail around quarter size or slightly larger at times, and also a couple of tornadoes cannot be ruled out. And look at this massive upper level low spinning across the Great Lakes region, influencing our cooler, more unsettled weather in some areas. If you do get some rain, consider yourself lucky if you live into the UP of Michigan, Wisconsin, or northern Illinois on Monday, because they definitely need it across those areas. But more of the steadiest and heaviest of the rains will be across New England, moving into New York State and eastern Pennsylvania as we head into your Monday evening time frame. And then as we go into Tuesday, look at this powerful subtropical jet moving in off the eastern Pacific across the southern United States here. We got that massive upper level low still spinning across the Great Lakes region, and this is going to encourage a very strong jet stream across the southern United States and continue the severe weather threat into Tuesday, June 13th. Again, in the very same areas we have seen it over and over and over again. We have another slight risk here, a level 2 out of 5 on the scale across the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texarkana getting in there into the Shreveport region as we head into your Tuesday timeframe. But just over the next week, from today through next Sunday, a week from today on Father's Day, this is June 18th, we will be expecting some pretty decent rainfall amounts, especially if you live into the Ohio Valley, the New England region, or also especially the Southeast. These areas will be inundated with rainfall amounts of 4 to 7 inches with locally higher amounts possible as we go through the new week here, especially if you live into Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, the Atlanta region, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, back into Jackson, Mississippi. Those will be the hardest hit areas with the rainfall over the next week, with again 4 to 7 inches of rain likely in those areas. So definitely watch out for some flooding through the new week. But unfortunately, up into the Midwest, besides parts of the Ohio Valley and the upper Great Lakes region into southeast Canada, with that upper level low spinning, we're really just not seeing a lot of moisture wrap around across Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, northern Illinois. We'll be lucky to squeeze out a quarter to half an inch of rain in those areas through the next week. So unfortunately, the drought will continue to intensify across those regions with a lot of abnormally dry here into the yellow categories and the tan shaded colors. That is a moderate drought, a level 1 on the drought monitor here, starting to develop across parts of the Ohio Valley and the upper Midwest. So hopefully we can squeeze out some decent rains as we get towards the middle of June across those areas. And the same thing can be said down here into Texas. Now, they have had more rain than the Midwest, I'll say that, but we do see it drying out across Texas and the southern plains slowly but surely, getting closer toward that Father's Day weekend time frame, and this is complements of a building ridge. So as we go into the middle of the week, we still have that influence of that strong upper level low spinning across the eastern Great Lakes now by Wednesday, June 14th, but you see the ridge down here into Mexico and southern Texas toward the Rio Grande Valley, down toward the Brownsville, Corpus Christi region. That will lift ever so slightly northward as we get to the end of the new week here on Friday, June 16th, to open up your Father's Day weekend. The northern periphery of that should be around Colorado to Kansas to the southwestern Missouri region by the time we get to Friday. And look how that builds even further north as we go into Sunday, Father's Day on June 18th. And we are watching a little bit of some upper level troughing into southern Canada, rounding the base or rounding the ridge here as we get in towards that Father's Day weekend time frame for more storm action further to the north. We'll get into that later on here in the video. But look at the temperatures. We will be warming up in a big way around the 100-degree mark here and towards the Rio Grande Valley, middle 90s as far north as central Texas, upper 80s up there into the midwestern regions here in the mid-Mississippi Valley. By Wednesday, we will be lifting that ridge axis a little bit further to the north. So as a result, on Friday, June 16th, temperatures will be into the triple digits across much of Texas, middle 90s there in Oklahoma and Kansas, in the 90-degree mark, maybe getting close to the Kansas City region, and also over here in toward the Indianapolis region in toward Indiana on Friday. And then look at that ridge really take off on Sunday, Father's Day, with the 100-degree mark potentially getting very close to Des Moines, Iowa, Kansas City, Omaha. Yeah, those areas will be well into the 90s, if not touching the century mark as we go into that Sunday, Father's Day time frame. So definitely a major heat wave is in the offing, and it looks to go nowhere as we go beyond Father's Day through Saturday, June 24th. The heat will stick around across the middle of the country as an omega blocking pattern will take place, with the trough on either side of the country providing us with below average temperatures. That blocking pattern will go nowhere, with the ridge sticking in place through the end of the month here of June. And unfortunately, we will be seeing some rain across the Midwest, but we're just seeing near normal. We'd like to see some deeper greens in this region to get above normal precipitation, but we'll take whatever we can get across that region. So that is definitely a little bit of a silver lining going into the end of June, but we will be drying out down here underneath the influence of the ridge across the southern plains, especially down down here into coastal Texas from Houston to portions there of Corpus Christi, Brownsville. Those areas will be drying out in a big way as we get beyond Father's Day through that 24th time frame. And look at where the area of precipitation will generally be up and over the ridge here across the Pacific Northwest, southern Canada. So we're talking about southern Saskatchewan, Manitoba, western Ontario, and then getting here into the northern plains, the Midwestern regions, and then rounding the eastern side of that ridge into the southeastern United States during that June 18th through the 24th time frame. And it is always a concern this time of year when we do see that ridge build in the summer months with a strong belt of westerlies in the jet stream. This is the 500 millibar mid-level jet, and you do see it rounding that northern periphery of the ridge after Father's Day weekend, and a signal for building instability. Now, don't take these values and run with them, but just know that the instability will be building as we get into late June across the Midwestern regions further north than we have seen it so far this year. So as a result, my severe weather forecast from June 18th through the 24th time frame, so from Father's Day onward there toward late June, we could be seeing some mesoscale convective systems further to the north across the Dakotas, Minnesota, rounding that ridge into Wisconsin, Michigan, and down here into parts of the eastern Ohio Valley. But I do suppose it is possible we do see some severe weather as far south as the Des Moines region, Chicago, Peoria, Illinois, and maybe down here toward the Nashville region as we get through the 18th through the 24th time frame. So we will be watching that. Either way, it will stick around. The heat will stick around through the end of June and even the opening day or two of July. This goes through July 1st, and we still see a lot of orange anomalies across the southern and eastern two-thirds of the country, and this will encourage more precipitation chances as that ridge begins to slowly break down. Eventually, from north to south, we'll shift the precipitation axis back to the south across the Central Plains, the Missouri Valley, and the southeast as we get through that June 25th through July 1st time frame. And you can see that here highlighted on the longer range guidance. Again, you see the ridge anchored across the southern United States and the southwest. And then the axis of moisture will be up and over the ridge and across the Midwest, the Missouri Valley, and the Southeast as we get in towards that late portion of June. And the instability will be pulling a little bit further to the south. So as the northern periphery of the ridge begins to break down, the instability will push further south as well. And thus the severe weather chances will move a little bit further to the south. So my severe weather forecast from June 25th through July 1st does have that likely category further south there into Nebraska, around the Omaha region, Des Moines, getting in towards Springfield, Illinois, and toward the St. Louis region, Kansas City, and then down here in towards Indiana, Kentucky, and near the Nashville region again into Middle Tennessee by the time we get toward the end of June and into early July. Well, if you guys like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, now is the time to press the subscribe button down below. It's absolutely free to do, and you get all these detailed breakdowns much of the week. I do post these at least 5 to 6 times per week, so I appreciate that as well. Also, it is very important to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video. It helps out more than you know to get all of this weather information out to as many people as possible, so I do appreciate that as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter, hit the description down below the video and follow me on Twitter at hweather420 for additional weather forecast updates on there. I do post on there very frequently throughout the week, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like today's video, remember, again, press that like button down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great weekend, everybody. A great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you all in the next video.